It started with flashing lights red, blue, white strobing across my living room window like I'd accidentally opened a nightclub. It was 5:42 p.m. on a Thursday, and my 14-year-old son Jacob was sitting barefoot on the curb, wrists zip-tied, while his homemade RC car laid on its side in the driveway, one wheel still spinning like it didn't realize the game was over. Across the street stood Herlinda Myers, Forest Ridge's self-appointed guardian of morality, compliance, and all things aesthetically beige. She had her phone out, filming, with this smug little smirk like she'd just uncovered a terrorist cell in a suburban cul-de-sac. Two officers stood near Jacob, one on the radio, the other trying to look like he wasn't questioning a teenager over a toy. I stepped outside in sweatpants and a t-shirt that read, "World's Okayest Dad," holding a coffee mug that still had steam rising from it. I looked at the shorter officer and asked, calmly, "Can you tell me what law my son just broke?" He opened his mouth, but I didn't wait for an answer, because 3 days earlier, none of this had happened yet. 3 days earlier, my son was just a kid trying to find peace with plastic wheels and circuit boards. Jacob's autistic, and while he doesn't speak much, when he's building, it's like he's singing. He doesn't do eye contact, or crowds, or sudden noise, but give him a soldering iron, and the world opens up. That week, he'd finished his latest Project-A-Sleek, 3D, printed RC car he named Falcon Zero. He programmed the controller from scratch, tuned the torque manually. The thing purred like a Tesla and turned corners like it had a soul. He was proud. I was proud. I sat on the porch sipping coffee, watching him race it down the driveway, loop around the mailbox, and make a tight figure eight just because he could. Then Linda crossed the street. "Excuse me," she said, arms folded, chin lifted like a lighthouse of disdain. "What exactly is saw that saw?" Jacob didn't respond. He never does with strangers. So I stood and answered, "It's a custom-built RC car. My son made it." She narrowed her eyes. "It's on the sidewalk." "He's testing it," I said. "It's loud. It's quieter than your lawnmower," I replied. "There's a camera on it." "It's disabled." Linda didn't like any of those answers. "It's disruptive," she snapped. "This is a peaceful community." "And he saw here," I said. That night, we got a letter from the HOA. Formal as hell. Notice of disruption. Due Law 85 fine. Threat of legal action. Jacob didn't understand. "Did I do something bad?" he asked. "No," I told him. "You built something amazing. Linda doesn't know how to do that." Next day, Falcon Zero disappeared. Just gone. Jacob came inside frantic. We checked everywhere. Then I got the HOA app notification. A photo. Linda's lawn. Jacob's car smashed in the grass. Caption: Unapproved surveillance device found and neutralized. I went over, knocked on her door like I was surveying papers. She opened with that same bored expression. "You took my son's property." I removed a threat. "He's 14. There was no camera." "That's what they all say." "You've got 24 hours to return what's left, or I press charges." "Go ahead," she said, and shut the door in my face. I didn't press charges. Not yet. I printed out the HOA charter instead. Highlighted 5 violations in one post. I documented everything. Then I waited. It happened again 2 days later. Jacob, outside, with a simpler build, no camera, no Wi-Fi, just 4 wheels and some joy. That's when the cops came. And that's when I told them who I was. See, I'm the district attorney for this county. I prosecute real crimes. People who steal, assault, embezzle, not kids with toy cars. The moment I told those officers, everything shifted. The radios went quiet. Linda lowered her phone, but she still had no idea what she'd just done. At the HOA Family Die Force Smile event with deflated balloons and dry hot dogs, Jacob asked if he could bring his new drone. No camera, no GPS, just basic flight. I hesitated. He insisted. "Just want to fly." So we went. He picked a quiet patch of grass, away from the crowd, and launched the drone. It hovered beautifully. Then Linda got on the mic. Attention, her voice shrieked through a borrowed PA. We have an unauthorized aerial de VYC. Surveillance risk. Everyone turned. The music stopped. Jacob froze. She stormed the field like she was landing a coup. That is a violation, she shouted. It's a drone, I said, not a predator missile. He has a history, she barked. Ask the cops. They showed up. Again. And I stepped in again. This time I was ready. I handed them flight logs, drone specs, HOA guidelines. Then the older officer did something remarkable. He turned to Linda and said, "Ma'am, you're creating more disruption than the child." She gasped like she'd been slapped. Next day, another letter. This time addressed to Jacob. HOA band park, sidewalks, community spaces. I didn't speak. Just posted it online. No caption. Just the envelope. The neighborhood exploded. Messages poured in. Sidewalk chalk violations. Flagpole fines. Mailbox height citations. And one spreadsheet from a retired librarian. Karen's penalties 2021 to 2024. Dula 34,000 in fines. 87 fan tram issued without board vote. Guess who signed them all? That night, I filed a formal complaint with the County Housing Commission. Fraud. Falsification. Conflict of interest. I hosted a town meeting. Brought EVY Denke. Showed check stubs, vendor payments, citations all leading back to Linda and her cousin's company, Evergreen Maintenance, LLC. People gasped. Someone cried. A dad stood and said, "She fined me for my son's bumper sticker." The next day, Jacob went to the store. Linda followed him, filmed him, told him he didn't belong. But Jacob filmed her too. And that was enough. I handed everything to the sheriff. Audit results confirmed. Dula 43,000 misappropriated. Linda was arrested. No cuffs at first. Just a long, heavy pause. Then, click. At the emergency HOA meeting, she wore white like it was a purity pageant. I stood up with the audit packet. Slide 1. Dula 1,124 security uniforms, paid to her niece's Etsy shop. Slide 2. Dula 3,400 in landscaping vendor. Her cousin. No board vote. Slide 3. My son's band letter. Then came the voices. She fined me for sidewalk chalk. She made my daughter cry. She said my son's wheelchair ramp disrupted curb appeal. Deputies walked in. Karen Myers, you are under arrest for fraud, harassment, and falsifying records. As they walked her out, she hissed, "You think this makes you a hero?" I replied, "No, just makes you saw accountable." After that, everything changed. The HOA board dissolved. Residents got refunds. Evergreen Maintenance shut down. And Jacob? He flew again. At the next family day, he led the drone show. 5 drones, perfect formation. Kids watched, neighbors clapped, and for once, nobody was afraid. Then I got a folder. No return address. Marked compliance escalation level 2. 7 neighborhoods. Same fraud. Same names. Same blueprint. Linda wasn't the only one. Now they're asking me to help clean it up for real this time. So if you're watching this, ask yourself, has your HOA ever crossed the line? Ever been fined for something that felt personal? Tell me below. I read every comment. Because this fight's just beginning, and next time, it might be your saw cul-de-sac.